No Place for a Woman, written by Val Wood, read by Anne Dover. The moral right of the author has been asserted. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Marie Curie. Prologue. Even into her old age, which was very long indeed, she would sometimes waken startled, unaware for a few seconds of where she was. In the space of that transient time, she remembered again the screeching, shrieking sound of metal on metal, the screams of petrified passengers, the white-hot flashes and the crimson blood, and her parents, her beloved Mama and Papa, lying still and silent with their arms wrapped protectively around her. And then, oblivion. And with a deep sigh, she would reach out for a comforting hand and wonder what it was that had aroused her. Part 1. Chapter 1. July 1897. It was Saturday, the 10th of July, and a month short of Lucy's 4th birthday, when she returned to the house in Baker Street where she'd been born. She'd been absent for 6 months. As they walked the short distance from the railway station, she clung to the hand of the housekeeper, Mary Chester, who had travelled to London to accompany Lucy when her Uncle William brought her home. William was returning to London the next day, and after finalising their household arrangements, would be travelling back to Hull the following week, bringing his wife Nora and her son Oswald with him. Lucy had barely spoken on the train journey, and had sat very close to Mary, tucked beneath her comforting arm. Her uncle had tried to be very jolly and point out interesting viewpoints as they steamed towards Yorkshire, but Lucy had closed her eyes and huddled into herself. "I'm afraid memory might still be strong, sir," Mary had murmured respectfully when she thought that Lucy was asleep. But she wasn't, although she didn't understand what Mary had meant, nor comprehend her uncle's reply. "I'm inclined to agree with you, but the people who are supposed to know about the effects of these incidents say that she's too young to bring them to mind, and that it was best to make another train journey as soon as possible. If by chance the memory is still there, it will eventually fade." He sighed. "My wife thought they were right, and I agreed with her that it is also a long way to travel by road." Lucy was thankful to get off the train, and as they crossed the road towards Baker Street, she tightened her grip on Mary's hand and looked up at her. She wanted to ask a question, but felt that she didn't want to hear the answer, and she was frightened of what she might find when they reached her house. "Nearly home, Miss Lucy," Mary said quietly. "All your toys are waiting for you. Your pretty dollies have had their clothes washed and ironed, especially for your return." It wasn't enough, Mary knew, and as she put the key in the lock of the door, she expected the worst as she felt the child's hand tremble in hers. She stepped inside, and Lucy followed, and dropping Mary's hand, ran to the foot of the wide staircase. "Mama!" she shouted, with a note of keening desperation in her voice. "Papa! Where are you? Your little Lucy has come home." William Thornbury was too overcome with emotion to be of much help to the child, so it was left to Mary to take her to her bedroom and hope that its familiarity would help soothe her distress. For him, stepping into the house brought home the full measure of the tragedy that had overtaken him in the loss of his younger brother and his wife. He had been fond of Joseph, and his sister-in-law Alice had been a sweet-tempered, kind, and intelligent woman. Urgent decisions had had to be made when he was told of the train crash that had killed them both, and left Lucy unconscious with a broken arm in a London hospital bed. He had visited his niece daily, and decided that when she recovered, as the doctor said she would take her to his own London home to live. It was the least he could do. His wife Nora had agreed that he should, but were they in a position to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?